morning. This is Jackie, and this is our Meaningful Monday spot where we are going to share some thoughts today. I'm in my garden, and spring is just breaking through. So my garden isn't pretty at all at this stage, but I decided it's so fresh and nice out here instead of sitting in my TV room and doing the video. So today's subject is tea for two, or over a cup of tea, or that's not my cup of tea, or that is my cup of tea. So regardless what your preferences are, we're going to discuss our thoughts about tea, the symbolism of tea over a cup of tea. Actually 2 cups. I'm going to turn my phone to show you my little tray with 2 cups. One I inherited from my husband's grandmother, and the other from my own grandmother. And there's a little sugar pot, and there's a vintage teapot that I bought at a second-hand store, and I've never used it before. So I decided to brew my tea in it. I'm using berry tea, so it's a flavored tea, and I drink it weak, and I drink it without milk. So I'm going to show you that, and then next to it you will see this large mug or jug, or no, mug. It's a Stanley mug, and it was a gift to my husband when he was in Brazil on a work tour, but I actually took over the mug because it keeps the tea so hot for a long time. So if I get so taken away into my own world of thoughts while crafting, my tea still stays warm. So I just wanted to show you what my cup of tea usually looks like, but today I'm going to do it dainty as possible. I don't have all the dainty things, and I don't have fine porcelain, but this is as dainty as it's going to get. So let me quickly show you, and then you'll see a bit of my garden, and you can see it's still full of autumn leaves. I don't rake away the leaves. I leave it to decompose and enrich the soil. We're trying to have a water-wise garden, so we don't disrupt the soil in the garden much, and we don't have many flower beds or anything like that due to water restrictions at times, and due to drought that we experience quite often. So our garden has succulents, and it has a few lilies, and it has trees and a bit of grass, and then I'm starting. It's still in a please ignore the background noise. I'm sitting outside, and 2 people are talking over long distance, shouting at each other. And that is actually normal talk in South Africa for some of the people that live here. So I started a succulent type of garden. In Afrikaans, we will call it a rotstuin, and it's actually I've started putting stones, and then I put the succulents in between this, planted them in between the stones. But it's still a very work in progress, and I'm still working on it, and it's not looking at anything wonderful at this stage because we had severe frost, and all my succulents, even though they were covered, they were damaged so intensely. So I have to sort of start over with my succulents, which is a very sad thing because the succulents are my other little children, and they are very dear to me, and I've been collecting them for years, and now I've got to start sort of over. So maybe there's a message in that also. But let me show you my mug and our little teacups, and I would love if you would join me with a cup of tea. So there you can see this cup of tea. I hope it's in view because I can't see what I'm showing you, but this I inherited from my husband's grandmother, and this one, the small one with the sugar bowl, I inherited from my grandmother. And then we've got the vintage tea pot in which I brewed some tea, and here's my mug. but I'm not going to drink out of it. I'm just showing you what I usually use for drinking tea. And so I'm going to pour myself a cup of tea. I'm first going to use the large cup. And while we're talking, I maybe just be able to enjoy a bit of tea, because these cups won't keep it so hot for so long. So I did a bit of research about the subject of tea, and I want to share some thoughts with you about tea. And I read that tea has a sentimental value in our culture, and it symbolizes hospitality, and it may also symbolize what you like or do not like. So there are two type of meanings behind tea. Like, this is not my cup of tea, so I don't like it. This is my cup of tea, so I actually prefer it. So a cup of tea is also a symbol of a cup of peace, and that I really can agree with, because when I drink a cup of tea, it's like serenity and peace just flowing through me, and it's just like my eyes close, and the warmth of the tea flowing through my body, and it's just this relaxing experience. And when I hold the mug that I usually drink of next to my face, and I smell the aroma and the flavor of the tea, it brings me so much joy, and it brings me so much delight and relaxation, and it just takes my mind a wandering, and thoughts flow into my mind and gets me thinking. And that is sort of a way of introspection also for me. So that is why I thought to share a bit of drinking a cup of tea. So wherever you drink your tea, at work or at home or in a cafe or while you're crafting, it's wonderful to allow yourself to appreciate the essence of this cup of tea. The art of tea is a spiritual force for us to share. So tea for two, it's such an experience if you do it in a soulful way, and sharing more than just a cup of tea with a friend or a loved one. And over that cup of tea, many memories are built, many tears are spilled, many sounds of laughter is heard, and many moments are cherished. For me, tea means taking a moment to drink in my surroundings, especially where I'm sitting outside. I'll show you a bit of the garden, and you can see it's still dry on the sidewalks. Everywhere it's still dry. So we don't have rain forecasted in the near future. So we will have to irrigate to get the trees budding and so on. But anyway, when you're in the surrounding, like where I am now, you're drinking more than just a cup of tea. You're listening to the birds. You're seeing the leaves move in the wind, in the breeze. You see the greenery, and you feel like your spirit comes alive. And you actually start wondering and thinking about how amazing creation is. If I look around and I see the different forms and the different leaves of the trees, and how they stand up tall and waiting to express life again, this invigorates me, and it motivates me to also push life out of me through crafting, through hugging and being a warm person, or being a kind person, or sharing a memory, or sharing a special moment with someone you love. So when you drink in your surroundings with your cup of tea, you take yourself in a situation of deep thought. And that is one of the most amazing moments you can experience. Sometimes we just rush down our cup of tea, and we forget to experience the beauty of life, the beauty of that moment, the the joy of that moment. And it's a shame that life has been changed into such a busy experience for us. If we could experience life as calm and relaxing and as making more memories, then and shedding less tears, wouldn't it be a wonderful world to live in? I think of people that are in war-stricken areas. I think of children that are trafficked. I think of domestic violence, of abuse, of losing a loved one, of a terminal illness. But then I also think of hope, of going on your knees and praying and asking God to please intervene, to channel peace into your being, to allow yourself to laugh, to love, and be happy. But circumstances aren't that easy many times. And if you have a friend that is going through a tough time, try to be a cup of tea for them. Be that aroma, be that peace and serenity that they need to support them through their difficult times. So in this whole thought of what tea symbolizes, we also find a uniqueness or similarities between us. Some like tea with sugar, some without. Some like it hot, some like it cold. Some drink it with milk, others don't. Some drink it strong and some drink it weak. Some drink flavored tea and some don't. And all those differences shouldn't tear us apart. It should bring us together so that we can share our uniqueness. And it's so similar to crafting. Don't let the crafting tear you apart because you are competitive or you are comparing yourself or what you craft to someone else's craft. Every time I see a journal, then I think, wow, I've got so much to learn. And I don't think I'll never be that good. I actually try to not to be hard on myself, and I want to encourage myself and say, you'll get there. And you don't have to get there in the exact same way. You get there in your own unique way. You just craft from your heart and you just let your heart flow onto the paper. And what I loved doing the Sunflower Reverie Journal was that I allowed myself to do things, and then sometimes I had the thought of, won't people laugh and think this was a stupid idea? And then I say to myself, no, this is you. This is a bit of you expressed on paper. Stay unique to yourself. Stay true to yourself. Don't be a fake. Don't just go along, and I don't mean not to copy, because sometimes we take ideas from others and we try it out and we improvise on it and we maybe change it or improve it, whatever. But allow yourself to craft in the way that it makes you happy. There's no good or bad, no best or not the best, no the most gorgeous or less gorgeous, because we are all on different stages in our life. And we have to stop the moment we want to compare ourselves to others and take our cup of tea. Let me take my cup of tea and inhale the aroma. This smells like flowers and fruit combined. This is a lovely cup of tea that I'm going to drink of. I'm going to take a sip. Oh, this is just lovely. And taking this sip, I want to encourage you to be the best cup of tea you can be. Let your aroma spread throughout the world and let it bring peace and calmness to others. And then I also want to encourage you also to approach your crafting like a cup of tea. Take time to brew it. Take time to select a cup or a mug. Take time to slowly drink it. Craft with care. Sometimes we rush it, and then we don't realize that it actually exhausts us. And we don't need that in our lives. We need crafting to be that therapeutic relaxation and letting go of troubles and letting go of pain and hurt. And if we need to shed a tear, let it be. That's all part of being an artist. You're an artist, and your creativity comes from deep within yourself, and it expresses so much of your emotions, and it's a way to let go of what your body doesn't need to carry along anymore. So on this note, I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea, and I want to thank you for spending time with me today, and I hope you will have a beautiful, peaceful week. I pray that you will be filled with serenity and calmness, and that your cup of tea will bring you much joy, even though your circumstances aren't that of joy. Make it possible for you to survive. This is with much love from me. Thank you for spending Meaningful Monday with me. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.